Hello and welcome to episode 140 of Talkin Bengals. For those of you keeping count, yes, we're a little light tonight, but that's all right. We've got Nick with me tonight, and as always, Bernsey with you. Casey's handling some family matters as we move into what is the end of the preseason, and we get ready for the week one of the regular season and head to Cleveland. Nick, how we feeling tonight, baby?
I don't know, baby. Already off the rails.
Oh man.
No, man. After the week three, obviously week three being of the preseason being the week where a lot of the guys who are on the bubble get a chance to prove themselves. I guess we'll just jump right into the first session there. I don't know that we could have done really any cheers and jeers. I know Tinsley, if you're going to say any kind of cheer, that man this preseason has done phenomenal. He's earned his spot, and we'll talk about that later. But really, just letting the guys get out there and play, live out a dream that not many people get a chance to do, and have a chance to actually try to do it. So, best of luck to everybody who did not make it, kind of knew they weren't going to make it, but went out and tried anyway. But, hey, we're starting to gear up for season week number 1 against the old Cleveland Browns. You Brownies.
Oh, man. Yeah, we're definitely going to get into some of that topic here in a minute. I agree. I don't think there's much to cheer and jeer about. I guess the biggest jeer is that even the third string looked like the third string as they should have. I thought a lot of guys played with heart to try and make the final roster down the stretch. But it, like we talked about before the show started was, week 3 of the preseason, and in years past it was week 4. This is the only time where those guys are going to get an opportunity to really try to show out and show up and make a team. And I watched a little bit of it. It was okay. Obviously, you see guys go out there and they just didn't look good, man. They didn't look like they were ready. They didn't, maybe someone put out there maybe in the world that oh my gosh, I'm having a mind blank. I keep wanting to say Anarumo, but it's not Anarumo anymore. Who's the new Al Golden? Jeez, as a Notre Dame guy, you would think I would know that. Al Golden is the best defensive coordinator in the world because he didn't show a single scheme throughout the preseason. So I don't know. Either he's doing some mind games, or we have a lot to be concerned about going into the season. On the defensive side.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Just hold up. 1 minute. I think somebody last week, and it's documented on the podcast, I think somebody may have had this crazy idea. Okay? I don't know. If you're listening to this podcast and you actually listen to our podcast, first of all, thank you and God bless you. Secondly, please share so that way we can get a little bit more out there. But look back at last week's episode and just if you could tell us who actually said this live on air before anybody else did. Please, for the love of God, somebody please tell me you're listening. Show me in the comments. Bernsey, back to you. Sorry about that.
Nope, that's true. Nick did say this last week on 139. If you haven't
you
watched
just ruined it.
Go for it. Go check out 139 on our YouTube channel and anywhere else you might get your podcasting, and check out those crazy wild ideas that he put out in the interwebs for all of us. And some other, hey, if he said it, apparently other individuals said it too. Because I started to see it in my feed throughout the week, especially after Saturday. But getting back to the preseason week 3, um, and we'll get to this in the cuts too, but Desmond Ritter, man, he does not look like an NFL quarterback. I know our fan base is niched in the Cincinnati market, and I know a lot of guys are Bearcat fans and Bengals fans, and they were all excited to have Desmond Ritter potentially get in there in the mix and maybe even make the roster, but not for me, dog. I, I bye. I hope you end up on a practice squad somewhere. Maybe you end up in the UFL. I don't wish ill will towards you by any means, but I don't think you have it, and that's just my personal opinion. And it clearly showed because you couldn't even beat the Indianapolis Colts third string defense. Um, Barely put 14 points on the board for that matter. So anyway, I think that's enough talk about preseason week 3.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I just want to go back to this guy who is obviously the first person in the world to say it live on air and put this crazy idea out there before anybody else. I just want to go back to this. And I want to say, I don't like to gloat. I really don't. And if you've been listening to anything that we've done over the past 139 episodes prior to this, you'll know that I don't like gloating. Maybe a little bit. But anyways, like, look back, all right, to episode 139. I was saying this last week, right? Today is August 26th. Look back 7 days ago is when we recorded that. 7 days ago. August 19th. I said it before anybody else said it. I never heard anybody else mention any of it. All of a sudden, we post our podcast. Next thing you know, now it's getting national headlines.
Mm.
I may be onto something. I may be onto something. I mean, ESPN, hashtag me, at me, whatever you do, whatever these newfangled devices do, I mean, come at me, bro, right? But seriously, I'm open, as long as it's like 9 o'clock at night, we're good. Eastern Daylight Time.
Taking a book out of Chad's book. I like it. Apparently, I while we were prepping for this, I was scrolling the formerly known as Twitter, now known as X, and Chad actually put out a retweet out there saying that he still texts Zach Taylor at 5 a.m. and tells him that he is always open or that he is still open. Zach Taylor, somebody he never played for, texts the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals and tells him he's still open. So, apparently, he texts Joe Burrow. He's not blocked. He said they haven't blocked me yet. So messages are going through.
They probably needed the conversation.
Shout out to Chad for always being open, because apparently Nick is too, unless it's after 9, which is ironic since we record after
only
9.
If it's after 9.
Oh, okay.
Only if it's after 9. Between 9 and 11 is really my sweet spot.
Oh. Kind of like his batting average.
Are you saying that I have a good batting average?
No.
I mean, because my batting average was pretty good. I'm just saying.
Let me go down the NAIA report real quick.
I was a pitcher only in college, man. Get out of here.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. I'm sure there's still some Max Sports stuff out there for you anyway. All right.
Let's just be honest. I wasn't even that good of a pitcher in college, all right? When I showed up in college, that's one thing I really wanted to talk about. Like, a lot of these guys in preseason, they go out, they were probably either all-stars at their high school, played really well at their college. What I can relate to is I was decent to good for Northern Kentucky, for I was decent to good for as a pitcher. Man, when you go into college, even at the NAIA level, and you see the talent pool across the entire United States now.
Yeah.
And because you take away the high school players, now you're just playing people who are good enough to be in college. And you see the talent pool. it's a lot more condensed. Like, and then I can only imagine the difference going from college to pros, because now you're talking about the best of the all-stars that played at their own high schools. Now you're talking about the all-stars that played in college. I mean, and then you're battling to see who can beat out who to make a 53-man roster. You know, think about how many guys played in college. Now you only have 32 teams with 53-man rosters. You know, what is that, like 1,600 guys? Tops?
Math.
Right? I mean, that's not even the SEC.
1696.
Yeah. So I mean, that's you're talking about SEC football right there. That's all the SEC schools combined who probably have more than that on their rosters just in general.
Yeah, most definitely. And you look at it, and going back to Desmond Ritter, since you want to talk, about great players. Desmond Ritter is an athlete and a starting quarterback for the Cincinnati Bearcats, and goes into Notre Dame Stadium, one of the most premier stadiums there is out there. And as painful as it is for me and a few of our listeners that follow the Irish near and dear to our hearts, they go in there and they pull out a win, and that is probably why I have some disdain for Desmond Ritter. Uh, you know, get that out of here. No one wants to see any of that. There's only one
it's because
orange on
everybody's
this
scared to go to
podcast.
the stadium. You know, just saying. Anyways, let's get off college football because preview. We got one coming for you right after this one.
That we are. So, that being said, we're done with preseason. We're done with our rant about college sports and college athletes. Let's talk about the news that broke yesterday, Monday. Trey Hendrickson gets a $14 million raise. I don't know. It's one of the weirdest things that I've ever seen in the NFL when it comes to signing players. I can't remember the time I've ever seen a player just get a raise rather than a full-blown extension. So, Nick, let me get your thoughts before I give mine.
I think that there's one of two processes here that's going on. The first one, really easy to explain. The Bengals and Trey Hendrickson are done after this year. Plain and simple. Option number two, Trey Hendrickson, well, either way, Trey Hendrickson needs to perform. If Trey can show that he's still able to perform at the same high level this year under this contract, the Bengals will not only be able to, but also will want to match what Trey Hendrickson's looking for and to be able to put the deal on the table. This year is a put up or shut up year for Trey Hendrickson. Just plain and simple. You're not going to put together a year this year of lackluster performance and expect next year to get any kind of money from any team, period, across the NFL. I think that's my 2 cents. Essentially, put up or shut up. Either the Bengals and Trey are done, or they're just going to be working in the offseason next season to come to terms on a longer term deal. Because maybe they just wanted to get the raise out of the way, get him signed, just so they can work on the rest next offseason.
Yeah, I'd agree to an extent. I definitely agree that it's more so option one than it is option two. I think both groups are just frustrated with each other of how everything's handled over the last couple seasons because of how the extension was handled initially, and then last season, well, we'll do it next year, just play out this year and we'll get it done next year. Now here we are, we're trying to get the extension and the guarantee so that way he can get 3 or 4 more years in the league and show that he can be productive. I'm not going to question Trey Hendrickson's work ethic by any means. I think Trey Hendrickson is a workhorse. I think that he deserves everything that he's gotten to this point, to include what the money he signed for yesterday for his raise. Um, when you have 35 sacks over a 2 year span, I definitely think you should get paid. Um, my
Yep.
concern with Trey, much like the Bengals, I believe, is that you're not getting any younger, brother. You know, at some point, you are going to start slowing down. Now, granted, this is going to be a weird comparison because they play two different positions on the defensive line. My thought process goes to Aaron Donald, who played on the inside, and was still pretty productive there down the stretch before he retired. But you didn't see the astronomical numbers. You still had the big plays and the big time sacks. The painful one in 2021 in the Super Bowl. That kind of stuff. But he just, he was very disruptive, but his game slowed down a little bit, and he knew when it was okay to call it quits. Um, I think Trey is much like most individuals. When we do something that we love and we are so passionate about it, we just don't know when the right time is to let go and move on. And in his mind, he says, hey, it's 3-4 years from now, and the Bengals are seeing it differently. And so I don't see Trey coming back in 2076 or 2027 or anything for that matter. I think
Did you
they're going
say
to move on
76?
2026, 2027. I might have lagged.
I
You
could have
know, you
swore
know
you
how
said
I have internet.
76.
Well, 2026. If I said 76, it's because I lagged. Because my great Spectrum internet over here. Sorry, I'm throwing shade because I'm mad. Um, anyway, so that's my thought processes on Trey. I don't see it going past this season. I hope he plays well. I hope he goes out there, which I know he will, and earn every cent of that raise that he just got and get all 30 mil um, that he deserved.
And then
So,
some.
and then some, right? I did also see that it actually puts him sixth on the list for highest paid edge rushers in the league, which is essentially what he wanted outside of a long term deal. So being up there with his peers across the league is good. I just don't understand why he wouldn't. And I guess it came down to the guarantees, in year 2 and year 3 or whatever the case may be. But whatever. Moving on. Trey's moving on. The Bengals are moving on. The deal's done. Let's move on. Let's talk 53-man roster cuts. So yesterday they cut 12 or waived 12. Today the rest of the roster got cut. We had some notables that actually made the roster. Nick, what are some notables that made the roster for you that's really stood out?
I love Charlie Jones and Mitchell Tinsley at the wideout position. I think that you're going to disagree with me, but P. Ryan making the 53-man roster, I think that was just a no-brainer. That's my opinion. Cam Grandy, I'll be honest, I don't remember him playing very much. And I'm kind of surprised they took so many tight ends. Now, offensive line, obviously, that was kind of a given who was all going to make that. Defensive line, I don't see any surprises there. Linebackers, we brought in Oren Burks on purpose. Hayward, he was going to make it. Demetrius Knight being a rookie and being drafted, obviously he was going to make it. They had put him out there with the first stringers. The whole ordeal is to get him out there and playing. I don't know who PJ Jules is in the secondary. I don't remember seeing or hearing about him. Quite honestly, I don't even know where he came from. But I will say the biggest notable is someone who beat out somebody who has been on the roster for 2 straight seasons. William Wagner beat out Cal, and I don't know how Cal lets that happen. But when you have William Wagner as a rookie coming in and having solid snaps, that makes or breaks your place kicking all day, every day, twice on Sunday. And we need it twice on Sunday.
Yeah, most
Especially in this.
definitely. So PJ Jules was an undrafted safety that busted his tail at camp and ended up making the roster, which is a heartwarming story. You always love those kinds of things. You know, Mitchell Tinsley, you know, leaving the Commanders last year as an undrafted, coming in to our organization and making our team. That's a beautiful story. Uh, Wagner winning the job, man. I love it. Um, we had, I can't tell you how many countless plays last year where like, what is the long snapper doing? What is Cal doing? Why is this look so terrible on special teams? And they noticed, so they brought in this guy, and sure enough, he goes out there, he performs all preseason, all camp, and proves that he deserves the spot, and so they gave it to him. So shout out to William Wagner on that one. Shout out to PJ Jules, Mitchell Tinsley. Um, the most notable cut, and I'm going to run down them real quick, um, that we had. So we terminated the contracts for Gary Brightwell, Jalen Davis, Joe Giles Harris. Cal was waived. Devin Cochran, Andrew Coker, Caleb Etienne, uh, Raymond Johnson III, Jalen Key, Jackson Kirkland, Braylon Lux, Jamoy Mays, Tanner McLaughlin. That was a surprise for me, but he's not recovered from his injury, so we decided to waive him. Seth McLaughlin, Kendall Milton, Jordan Moore,
John
Njoku
Meta.
Meta. Yep. I can't believe that didn't make the roster this year. Kendrick Pryor, Desmond Ritter, Isaiah Thomas, Cordell Volson, who was also injured during camp, and Isaiah Williams. For me, Kendall Milton is one of those guys that I thought played really well against the Commanders. He ran the ball very well. I thought he ran the ball effectively against Indianapolis, even though, like I said earlier, they only scored 14 points. Um, I thought he did enough to earn a spot on the roster. To go back to Nick's point earlier, he said, you know, I can't believe the Bengals put 5 tight ends out there. I am too, because Grandy's was a great backup and a fill-in for a couple games. Shoot, I think that was 2 seasons ago now. I don't know if he did anything last year for the team. I think waiving him would have been the smarter move, in my opinion, and let Kendall Milton make the roster because I think he deserves it, the running back out of Georgia. Um, but yeah, and then Desmond Ritter, like I said earlier, you know, he didn't prove to be any added value to the quarterback room, in my personal opinion. It was a feel good story for him to be in there with the coach that recruited him, but he just didn't show enough in order to make it. Any notables that you want to talk about?
I am, no offense to Cordell Volson, but it's about time. And it sucks that he had to be waived because he was injured.
Yeah.
I am happy that we don't have to worry about Jackson Kirkland out there anymore, and Devin Cochran. For God's sakes, let's find a way to replace them on the offensive line with something better. Now, Cody Ford and Lucas Patrick, not necessarily surprised they made the team, but we need to find better options.
Most definitely. Um, Going back to the offensive line, the one I'm really happy about is Matt Lee. I I haven't got to watch much tape on him in the preseason, but I think you got to try him at guard at some point, or you move Karras over to right guard and let him be the starting center for a little bit. Find a way to make that offensive line gel. You brought him in last year, and he's a vital asset. They've all said it for the last 2 years that he's here to be the guy. But why isn't he the guy? you know, we have so many question marks on the offensive line plus defense, and you have a supposed answer in Matt Lee, and he's just not hitting that next step. Now they did talk about the other guard, and again it's because it's slipping me. Jalen Rivers, the rookie that we took this year, they love him. They said he's getting better every day in camp, and now he's on the board. Um, and it's time. It's time to show, man. I don't think Lucas Patrick is the answer for the offensive line either. So if it's not Jalen Rivers, Matt Lee, or Ted Karras at the right guard, I don't know what you do.
I
Apparently,
mean,
we also
I would throw Matt Lee and Jalen Rivers in at guard and see who can win it out. I mean, because Matt Lee, we know he can center. We know he can snap the ball. I mean, while we're not using him at center, and hopefully Ted Karras stays healthy all season, use him at guard. And quite honestly, I don't think that moving Karras away from center when Joe's used to getting snaps from Ted, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't like that.
No, I don't either. I really don't. It was just one of those things of how do we make this work and get Matt Lee into the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So don't take anything I say as doctrine or law by any means.
Oh, I'm taking it as doctrine and law.
Yeah, I know. Most people do. But since we're on the topic of Ted Karras, I know I've talked about this before, but shout out to Ted. He's my commander's cousin. As a going away gift, he signed some stuff for me when I left Alabama. So much appreciated to Ted for that. Stay in Cincinnati forever for as long as you want. You're always welcome on this podcast too if you ever decide to listen. So, but yeah, so that's it, man. That's the 53-man breakdown and the roster cuts and waves. Howard Cross making the roster too. Now that I'm flipping back over to the defensive side of the ball, that one kind of surprised me as well. And then at linebacker, you brought up Barrett Carter. We talked about Barrett Carter 2 weeks ago and how much he showed out. So happy to see him on there. Tyson Anderson, he had an interception against the Commanders as well. Should prove that he should be out there. I think PJ Jules and Tyson Anderson have an opportunity to go win 2 vital positions that we need in our secondary and that safety. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm just enthralled by the 6 receivers we kept. You have T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Yoshi, Charlie Jones, Jermaine Burton, and Mitchell Tinsley.
Yeah.
You have 6 solid guys. I mean, obviously 2 of the best receivers in the league with T and Jamar. And then Charlie Jones, Yoshi, Burton, and Tinsley. Just absolute studs. Charlie Jones is a freaking workhorse. Jermaine Burton getting his head out of his butt finally, thank God. I hope the best for that guy. I really do. And then Tinsley showing out. I mean, I hope he just shoves it in whatever the Washington team's name is nowadays. I hope he just shoves it in their face.
Commanders.
Whatever. I was going to call them Redskins. I hope he just shoves it in their face and said, "Cut me now."
You like that? Oh, wait. Wrong Washington football player. Sorry.
Anyways, what were we going to talk about next? I know we had another topic.
Well, I knew we did, and I don't know what it is off the top of my head anymore because this is why I write things down. But we had talked about it Friday night. Well, I think I said Burton might actually end up being the sixth receiver on the depth chart, and he ends up at fifth. Um, so Tinsley did enough to make the roster, but we'll see how the regular season goes. Maybe Tinsley gets a little more reps than just the sixth man in the group in the rotation. So, really excited about what the offensive weapons can do. Hopefully, the offensive line can keep Joe up a lot longer than 2.5 seconds this coming season. Excuse me, and then your wild theory that everybody's running with is that Al Golden is the most mastermind genius of them all, and played possum through the preseason and showed nothing. So Trojan horse, I think, was actually the reference that we quoted last week.
Yeah, I think that was Casey.
Yeah,
I think Casey called it the Trojan horse. And let's just
yeah.
be honest. Casey was making fun of me for saying that. Okay? All right, sorry, I just gave it away. It was me. I said it. But okay. If you didn't catch the drift the whole time I was talking about it. But Casey called me essentially dumb for saying that.
He pontificated enough.
Let's just say
without saying dumb.
Yeah. He essentially called me an idiot for thinking that. And then now nationally, everybody's saying it.
Most definitely.
Right? So let's just be honest. If Al Golden really is a defensive mastermind, get ready. We're going to be playing in February. We're going to need some gloves. So we're going to be watching on the back porch with the fire going. And the neighbors aren't going to be sleeping.
No one's sleeping. I might actually have to put a day of leave in or something.
Oh, the kids ain't going to school the next day, I'll tell you that.
Joke's on you. My kids go to school here.
It's not my fault you homeschool.
Whoa. That's
whoa.
That was a joint front office decision on that one, okay?
Your wife's doing a great job.
Fantastic.
We all love her. And
smartest.
She's the whole reason why your household's still going. So we know who runs that.
Oh. I mean,
shout out to Burnsy's wife. She's amazing.
I may sit at the head of the table, but she makes things happen. So
there's more behind it, but we won't get into all that. Let's do an off-season topic. Maybe that third topic will come up.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go for it.
What's a good off-season topic that you think that we should pontificate over for a minute?
Man, I hate these. Because I don't plan for this. I plan for our two shows, and then I'm like, oh yeah, the off-season thing. Shoot, what do we talk about? So you got something that comes to your mind?
I got it.
All right.
If you could choose between one or the other, you could only grow a mustache and no other hair on your face, or only the beard with no mustache. Which would you choose and why?
Wait. Okay, hold on. No other hair on my face to include my eyebrows?
Like
and my
facial
eyelids?
hair. The eyebrows
okay.
and all that. So no other like facial hair. So only mustache, no beard ever? Like you'd never have to shave the rest of your face? You would just trim your mustache every once in a while? Or only beard, no mustache?
Well, since I get a 5 o'clock...
This is not talking about regulations.
Well, that's what I was going to allude to, is that regulation says that I'm only allowed to have a mustache, and since I get a 5 o'clock shadow at noon, it's probably better for the Army that I say just the mustache, so I don't ever have to shave the beard again, and I don't look like I need to shave 8 times a day when my face can barely handle 2 times a day that I shave. But personal preference, I always prefer the beard. If I didn't have a mustache, I'm I'm okay with that.
Honestly, I feel like I'd look really weird, and I tried it one time with just a mustache. Definitely not going to do that. So it's all beard all day, every day. If I never grew hair on my upper lip, I would be fine.
Yeah, most definitely.
It'd look weird,
Uh,
but I'd rather just not have it on my upper lip and have it everywhere else.
I enjoy going to work looking like Ned Flanders.
If you just shave your upper lip, you'd be fine.
Yeah, that's true. Um, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Is water wet?
Now, how scientific are we trying to get?
No, think about it. Is water wet?
I mean, it's water. Of course, it's wet.
Or how do you know?
Because if water wasn't wet, it wouldn't make other things wet.
Wet is a feeling. So you're saying water feels wet?
Because it's wet. It's water. Like, the only way you know if something feels wet is if it feels like water is on it.
I mean, sure.
What is your thought?
I don't know. I've asked this question. Let's see. I went to one of my leadership courses in 2018, and that was what sparked it. And so for the last 7 years, I've literally pondered on this question: is water wet? Like, there's water here, but I don't know if it feels wet. I don't know. But if I put it in my mouth, then my mouth is wet. So I would have to agree that water is wet, but but is wet water? I don't think wet is water. Wet could be a multitude of things. Wet could be milk.
This
That
is
could
like
be
this is like asking, can you make dirt dirtier? Okay?
Yes, exactly.
This is a lot like, somebody essentially saying, "Hey, I wipe my own butt before I poop." Okay, this is stupid. Water is wet. Okay? Like, water's wet. It just is.
All right.
Okay? Kind of like
Hey,
God.
let us.
Like, God's God.
You gotta have faith that water is wet. I got it.
There's no faith in that. It is.
Mm,
It's objectively true. Like, we are born and then we die.
fair enough. Well, if you'd like to get in on this philosophical debate, jump in the comments and let us know. Tell us what you feel. Is water wet? Do you feel that wet is water?
Or do you feel like Zach is stupid?
I haven't had enough today. So, oh,
You haven't
man.
had enough water yet today?
Yes.
You haven't wet your whistle enough, huh?
No, I drink plenty of water and energy drinks. I'm not going
Too
to say
many
the name brand. I'm not going to say the name brand because they don't sponsor us. Maybe if they listen to our show and wanted to throw us a sponsorship, maybe I'd throw it out there.
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry, was that too
Anyway.
much? Did I do too much? Did I go too far on the Casey bit right there?
Oh yeah, that was way too Casey. Next thing you know, you're gonna have a coffee mug with a lid that you put on it
Oh,
to make sure your coffee stays hot. He's playing real life little man, big man with a coffee mug and a little top hat on it.
and yes, there's wet water in here.
God. Anyways, final thoughts.
Final thoughts for me is thanks for always joining us. If you don't like, follow, subscribe on any social media platform that you want, or you currently don't follow us on, go to our YouTube, smash the subscribe and share buttons, get our name out there. We'd love to have you on. Um, these shows are a little bit different when it's just the two of us. We love to have more people on, so by all means, come join us if you want to be a guest. I sat out some cold calls today, trying to get some last minute fill-ins because I wasn't tracking Casey wasn't going to be here. But anyway, that's another story. Go to at Talking Bengals. Follow us, like, subscribe, share. There you go. I butchered
Follow.
all of this. Yeah, Nick, take us home.
Like Zach was saying, subscribe, follow. Follow us on all the social medias. Of course, we are doing a Talkin College Football podcast as well. Very much interesting. Right after this one, we record it, and we'll get those posted out as soon as possible, just like we do for our Talkin Bengals podcast. You're going to be seeing more of us. Season's fastly approaching. Starting to get pretty excited that my intuition about Al Golden being this defensive mastermind is really coming into play here. All right. I can't wait to see it actually happen. Tune in next time for Talking Bengals, episode 141 next week. Thanks for joining us, guys. Hoo day.
Hoo day.